Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the European Masters. We're rounding out day number 3 with a game between the PG Nats, that is Macko, and UCAM from the Spanish league, which I've completely forgotten the name of. I'm so sorry. It's Superliga. No, yes, Superliga. Ultraliga is Poland. I'm having a breakdown. Trouble. Talk to me about these teams.
All right, so for Macko, it's the first competitive year, right? And they have managed to take the Italian league by storm. They stormed, finishing first in the regular split, and they also stormed their playoffs 3-1. Now the situation is not the same for UCAM, but what they did that changed the story for them is they changed top and jungle from 2020. They brought in Dreedy and Hadess, and they've completely dominated from there on out.
Well, when we look back on the games we've seen so far, I think it's fair to say that Macko lost to Flash Timers in their last game. They picked Annie for Sebekx. He genuinely did really well on it when he had Flash, because Annie is really only relevant when she has Flash. And they basically just had 5-minute windows where the team just didn't work. But when they did work, it looked good. So I'm curious whether or not they're going to fall for the Annie bait again, or if they decide to kind of go for something a little bit more standard. So far, the Annie has been left open as we are absolutely barreling through the picks and bans. The Seraphine and the Tristana banned away by UCAM, and Macko have taken away the Camille, Orianna, and Rel. And the final ban is the Nocturne. So fair few things still open. Things like the Tristana have been open, and Kai'Sa is going to be the first lock-in. Like you said, though, the Thresh is open. Same with the Hecarim. That could be a really nasty pickup here for UCAM.
All junglers in. Thresh is still up and available. Only Rel has been battled from the champion pool. I'm wondering. The Na is up for grabs as well. Dreedy, I just have to comment him on that one because he was such a big reason why UCAM was able to turn the game around versus Illumina. They were being run down. The game almost ended, and Dreedy found a fantastic flank onto the Na. So I would not be surprised to actually see Dreedy going for the Na in the first 3 picks right here. I do like Hadess onto the Hecarim, taking it away from Cboi as well. And I'm just wondering why the king, why they would pick Kai'Sa so early for their king. I know he's called the king for a reason. But I'm not sure with so many picks up and available, you just first pick the Kai'Sa.
Well, it looks like, yeah, I was right. It's the Shadow Isle boys locking in the Hecarim and the Thresh. It's a really, really nice combination for them to start it off with. And now Macko, they need to find an answer. Now, we have seen the things like the Lilia and the Udyr as kind of the kind of go-to junglers today around this Hecarim. They kind of have the big 3. So we'll see whether or not Cboi wants to opt into any of those 2, or if maybe he has something a little bit more spicy prepared for this matchup. So I'll run the timer down a little bit, but it is just going to be tried and trusted here in the Udyr.
And I don't think there's a chance for Sebekx to lock in his Annie here. It's going to be extremely difficult to play against a Hecarim. They had the Hecarim with them the previous time, and it wasn't easy to go past the Udyr versus Mouseport. So now with the Hecarim, is going to get much harder, and you also have the Thresh to bail one of his carries if they get stuck by the T-Bus as well. So I'm wondering right here, yeah, if he's going to resort to one of his other picks, it makes much more sense. This is sort of like the criticism that I had in the game that you mentioned, where they got played by Flash Timers, because once the Annie doesn't have the Flash, she can't necessarily get that Pog engage that we see. But had there been a different mid lane for Sebekx in that game versus Mouseport, I do believe that this could very well have been a win for them. But back to this one, I do like the adaptation. I do like the Viktor coming in. And on the other hand, when you don't have a lot of hard engage and backline access locked in, the Jinx comes out to play.
And if you have a limited amount of backline access, you've got the Thresh for the Lantern, so you can always peel her out. And now it's over to UCAM. They're looking to ban away things that can kind of deal with the Nautilus, with the Thresh. So the Nautilus is going to get banned away. Also does really well later when you can kind of just single target ult the Jinx and lock her down for as long as need be. Over to Macko though, what are they going to look to ban away? I'm assuming things like the Orianna and kind of these more standard mid lane picks, unless Baca has something safe in his back pocket. But yet the Nart has been denied actually.
It has to absolutely get out of the picture, and I think it makes sense. Orianna has already been banned. I think it makes sense to possibly take something else away from Dreedy as well. Dreedy is known for playing an insane Irelia as well, insane Camille, all these sort of split pushy kind of champions that Dreedy likes to play. And the Sion ban right here sort of indicates to me that we might see one of them pop up.
Question is which one, or if we are going to get one. As Macko now looking to ban away their final pick. Going Gonna run the timer down. I mean, the Macko are really thinking about what they want to ban away here.
They're thinking of what Dreedy could be thinking by banning away the Scion.
Okay, so Syndra. I actually don't mind that because Syndra is going to hard shove the Viktor until Viktor upgrades his laser. So it kind of alleviates a bit of space in the mid lane for Sebekx. Curious to see what the mid lane pickup will be here for UCAM. We expect them to go for their mid lane now, unless there's definitely something they want to pick up for Dreedy. Like you said, the Aurelia, the Camille are open as well. And technically, Aurelia is a flexible pick, but it looks like they're just going to go for the Twisted Fate. And if anything, that does kind of, to me, go, we might see a split pusher because the TF is really good at facilitating side laners. Really, really good at facilitating side laners. So Macko now maybe caught off a little guard. They don't have any engage. This is something you were hitting on, Trouble. They're just hard lacking that. So looking for some engage in the support role here. So the Leona does offer that. You could go for something like the Ornn as well if you just want something safe in the top lane as well. But actually picking the Gangplank. So something that's going to kind of play weak side. Maybe predicting Dreedy's Camille or Aurelia.
He knows they're going to be playing definitely aggressive in the top lane, and a Twisted Fate landing with a gold card is going to be detrimental on how the top lane ganks are going to pan out. But if this is indeed Dreedy's Camille, locking the Gangplank in place will pretty much seal the deal. The gold card doesn't necessarily have to hit, and even if he gets cleansed, so on and so on. I'm getting too deep into this because I'm like, give us your Camille, give us your Camille. Ooh. It's going to be the Urgot.
Lovely, I like that as well. Urgot's quite annoying for Gangplank at times because when you got that W on, you just stand on the barrels. Gangplank really struggles to pop those. Also has some team fighting capability. You know, your frontline jump, well, your Hecarim jumps in, you throw the R through the middle of the team, hit the person he's targeting, pull them back out, flash fear the whole team, and you know, Twisted Fate can always come in on the flanks of his Destiny. I'm liking what UCAM have put together here. On the side of Macko though, what's this team's game plan? What are they looking to do with this comp?
Oh, you definitely want to fight. You see that UCAM sort of want to run at you. You have the Hecarim running in. You have the hooks running in from the Hecarim as well. You've got the Twisted Fate giving vision for all this engage to pile on. But then you have so much peeling from the Viktor and the Gravity Field. You've got so much peeling from the Gangplank ultimate, the Udyr, the Leona. You have so many tools to keep your Kai'Sa and your Viktor alive that you're allowing your opponent to sort of dive you and you dissuade the engage. On the other hand, I feel like it's into UCAM's hands to take the game early on. You've got the Twisted Fate. You have to be proactive. You have to make the Urgot a beast. When Dreedy is in one of those AD side lane split pussy champions, you need to play to that strength. You also have set up in the bot lane, but most importantly, when Twisted Fate is locked in, it helps the jungler a lot as well. Because with the Hecarim, you technically want to play the farming game with the Udyr, but having the +1 from Twisted Fate joining in is going to be a little bit scary for Cboi to do whatever he wants in the map.
Well, we're on to the Rift for our 6th and final game here. These first 3 days have honestly breezed by. I don't like how quick it's going. Slow down. I want to enjoy it a little bit more. As defensive lines have been started up, and, you know, Trouble, to kind of carry on from what you're saying, I think we're in for a bloody game no matter what happens here. I think, you know, like you said, Macko are going to want to fight. UCAM are going to want to kind of snowball early. I think there's going to be action no matter what. This is going to be a good game.
What I really commended UCAM in their previous game is how easy it was for them to adapt to the winning scenario. So even if they lose focus on what their goal is early, it's very easy for them to sort of pull the reins together and see what their win conditions is for the late game. Now here, of course, your insurances are the Hecarim late game, they are the Jinx, they are the Urgot on the back line, and then you sort of have the Twisted Fate playing support material, throwing cards here and there, having the gold card ready to save the Jinx. But you do have something to fall on late game if you so need it. Now the proactivity is up to you. It's up to you to start making the plays, get Dreedy's Urgot ahead, and all eyes are gonna be on that level 6 on Baca.
I'd like to actually turn my eyes a little bit towards Sebekx as well here, because Sebekx has been a player who, you know, he's been around for a while, has a very vast and wide champ pool, and a lot of his champions he plays have, you know, very different play styles. He's domestically got quite a few champions that he has 100% win rate on, and he's played them all a lot as well. So I'd like to, you know, it's very different, this Viktor, from the Annie, which we saw the other day.
Yeah, I think what really differentiates a lot of players, what really puts them above the pack is the versatility, right? If we're talking about Sebekx, he can play anything and everything from an assassin to an ADC to a control mage to a simple mage to even a bruiser, because I think he had a Renekton somewhere in there in the Italian league. So he can literally choose and pick whatever he wants to play, and he can perform on it, because we're talking about he's won on every single one of these different picks. Which is extremely impressive. And as for bot lane, it goes as we were expecting. Jinx has the reins onto the Kai'Sa. Yes, you are going to suffer if you're dead king, but your ultimate goal is fighting later on in the fights. And we say this a lot of times when we're looking at very nice play right there. When we're talking about a team composition, a team fighting composition, sorry, and when we're talking about a pick composition and a more aggressive one in the early game, the question always becomes, if you're playing for team fights, if you're playing for late game, how much are you willing to lose until you say, okay, now we fight? And that's always been the question at hand, right? You can't fall too much goal behind. You can't allow too many drakes to go to the opposing team, because then you're losing too much pressure on the map. So it's always a fine line, balancing how much you lose until you can come back and say, now we team fight.
Yeah, and I think, a good example was our fourth game of the day, where G2 just started losing a lot of things, and then they didn't really have the opportunity to peel it back, as Sebekx is actually receiving a little bit of love here as he eats a gold card. He has no cleanse, and Hadess just jumps straight underneath the tower to get a big chunk out of him. But ultimately, Sebekx will survive for now, as a hook does come in. There's Darkrai also jumping into Rafitta, and it's a lot of action so far, a lot of trading across the board.
If you see, their king is really suffering down the bottom. He's already 6 CS behind. He's taking a back right now. That means that Darkrai is going to have to stick around together with Cboi to potentially try and secure the wave from when their king is back. Else the wave is going to crash. So unless the Leona really wants to take some hurt right here. Oh, top lane.
Well, they're teleporting in. They're looking to invest into Dreedy. Sten's already used the orange, and Baca's making his way forward. He's got the flash. He's got the gold card. Doesn't even need to get it. That's first blood to Baca.
And that's the proactivity we're talking about. I said level 6. Baca's like, joke's on you, Trouble. I can do this level 5 with a teleport. Great debate right there from Dreedy. He had no mana. His HP bar was going pretty low. Baited StenBosse into thinking he can kill him. And then Baca comes in, securing a kill for himself. Really, really well played. Now, it's sort of like a double-edged sword, because you got killed topside, you used teleport, you used flash, and Baca is just about to hit level 6, having his flash still available. So again here, Dreedy's like, oh shoot, I'm in a lot of trouble. Debated, throw him back, allow the teleport from Baca to come in. StenBosse, as you mentioned, had already used his fruit, had to also flash, and that was a pretty easy secure from the side of UCAM.
Alright, it's quite easy to kill when he's got no tangerine.
Yep.
There's going to be a dragon picked up for Macko at least, so they do get something off the back of all this attention. And I think it's good to invest into Dreedy, because in the game we saw UCAM play previous to this, it was Dreedy who basically made the plays which shut Illuminar down. So getting this guy ahead is going to be really, really big. He is down in CS at the moment though, although the wave will work slowly towards him. With his shotgun knees, should be able to deal with that one.
He's still gonna be down the CS even when the wave crashes, but he's gonna have a lot of company up there. Hadess on the Hecarim. Baca is already level 6. He's also rocking the spellbook. Oh, here
comes Hadess. He's looking to jump in. Sten does have the R. He's bought really far back. There's the flip by Dreedy. They're just looking to turn it onto Cboi. The Destiny has been used, and the gate as well. Here's the Fear Beyond Death. And Dreedy gobbles Cboi alive.
Sorry, Baca, you're not allowed to get any assists here today. Dreedy and Hadess have got this rolling. And again, we said, this is a problem, because Dreedy is going to have a lot of friends coming up towards the top side of the map. You see Hadess, they see both Cboi and StenBosse, but are like, this is a StenBosse without a flash. We can definitely take him down. You see the level 5 onto Cboi as well. They cannot withstand the damage that these two champions are popping off. Baca here came for the moral support as well. He's like, I'm here, guys. If you need anything, you don't. Okay, bye. Go back to my wave.
Just playing heavily around Dreedy. He's finished up his Tiamat now on this base. If you haven't seen a Urgot as of late. It is a Titanic Hydra build. Although he has made a bit of a resurgence as of late. We've seen him getting picked up a couple of times in some of the more niche scenarios. As that was the interaction I was talking about when you press the W, Gangplank pops the barrel down, and there is no way he's popping that barrel. Yeah. Absolutely no way.
So the difference here is that the Gangplank wants to slowly but surely scale into the late game, whilst the Urgot is already getting going. He's got the Hydra down, which means the Tiamat that he's going to be able to push the wave instantly, and that will create much more pressure together with Hadess to try and do whatever they want on the top side of the map. Now you see that all the camps from Cboi are on the top side of the map, whilst the the Rift Herald is spawning as well, and you see that the bot lane of UCAM are backing. We could potentially see a 5-man stack towards the top side to try and get the Rift Herald, but because the top side of UCAM is so strong, I wouldn't be surprised if we just saw Plasma going to the top side on his own, and this is exactly what he's doing as well.
Yeah, looks like that will be the game plan for now. Remember, you also have that Destiny coming up fairly soon for Baca, so he'll be able to join up in the top side, gets himself the blue buff, just for a little bit more consistent mana. It looks like for now, actually, the attention is back towards this bot side for UCAM, as they are securing the crab for Hadess. And this does mean that Macko do have the inside track on the top side of the map, and Dreedy has to be a little careful. He hasn't got that flash, and Cboi's about. Well, now we finally spotted out by the ward, but still flashless, and he's slowed down. Cboi comes in with a bear stance, gets himself the lockdown, and Dreedy will lose his life, as that is a kill for Sten.
They're preparing a dive down the bot lane, but that is a 3v2. Leona just hit level 6 as well, so that's not going to be possible. So props to Macko here for finding that open pick. We talked about how Cboi had his top camps alive, so he played for that top side and managed to shut down Dreedy, give some breathing edge. StenBosse, you see that the dive actually went on in the bot side as well, but did not result in any kills for the side of UCAM. Actually, it didn't result in any summoners either.
It was just a
cleanse.
Cleanse, sorry. Just a cleanse. Which is, you know, annoying, but not the end of the world. You still got the flash on the Kai'Sa, you still got 6. So, double dash is available to King, so I'm sure he is quite content with that one. As Sten does pick himself up a plate, the Rift Herald was secured by Cboi. Cboi actually securing a little bit more than the Rift Herald as he gets himself a chicken camp, although Baca gets a gold card winded up, and Cboi a bit too quick for him, so you can't lock him down.
Yeah, good luck locking down Cboi onto the Udyr, and even when you do, he already has the mercs available to him, which means he's gonna get out of the stand pretty swiftly. Now the situation is playing straight into Macko's hands, because UCAM are trying to create that pressure. They're trying to take the Twisted Fate all over the place, but he starts falling behind the CS to Sebekx. You see that StenBosse is ahead in CS on the top side, which is something that they wanted to stop or at least slow down from the side of UCAM. And the only thing that's going on well for UCAM is the fact that the Jinx is so far ahead. So Rafitta, that late game win con that we've already been talking about, is really nice and fed already from that early game. Now the question is, do you want to fight this? Because you don't necessarily have the numbers in the river right now. There is Leona ultimate, and this is very scary. And I also forgot, that's my bad, I also forgot the Rift Herald, which is a perfect timing right there, King.
King going very, very low. Hadess has actually popped the ghost as the rocket is available to Rafitta. King flashes over the wall as now they do force Cboi into the box. Flaying him back, doesn't quite get hit by the traps, but here comes the ultimate. Here comes the turnaround. The gold card from Baca, able to secure the kill. So far, it's a 1-for-1. And that looks like that is where we are going to call it. Jungler for jungler.
Ooh, that could go very, very wrong. And again, UCAM are trying to be proactive, and all they manage to do is trade 1-for-1. If they don't come up ahead in the early game, 2,000 gold doesn't mean anything right now, because Macko is actually scaling much better into the late game. So you need to be able to trade more than that. You need to be able to grab dragons. You need to be able to grab towers. Thankfully, this is going to be a 5-tower plating first tower Jinx in the bot side.
And I believe that's solo plating gold as well. And how tragic is that when the team that got the Rift Herald only get 2 plates, and the team that didn't get the Rift Herald get first tower blood at 12 minutes.
Yeah, that is a Rift Herald, not worth spending time to take right there, but at this point, if you're Macko, you have to go for this because you had the prior top side, because you had just killed Dreedy, so you sort of take those. And the situation in the top lane has sort of slowed down, and that does not favor you if you're UCAM. We haven't seen Twisted Fate ultimate apart from that second one. We need to see more action happening onto the map before QSS start coming in, before they're too scared to move forward, because your Twisted Fate will fall off sooner or later. Right now, he's at his peak. 1 to 2 items, great. You need to make the peaks work. Cboi.
Oh, they're going to look to jump into him. There's the gold card, and he is caught out by the rocket. This is going to be a kill, not secured, and Cboi gets out of there.
Oh my god, that was so close. They tried to give Rafitta the kill with the Jinx rocket, but Cboi is a very, very, very tanky boy and doesn't even have the Tamke. Oh my god.
Chem tank. Oh my word, we both fell apart there.
The Chem tank completed for himself. Nevertheless, it is pressure created. You do take his flash, you do grab his jungle, and you take the dragon. Now that is some pressure that is worth creating on the map, because even though it didn't result in a kill, it gave a lot in terms of control in the jungle and taking the dragon.
Yeah, and Rafitta is very strong. Kraken Slayer, 140 CS. That is a 60 CS lead at 13 minutes, and I'd like to actually take a quick toggle of the gold, because it's probably quite disgusting between the two AD carries. Oh,
yikes.
Yeah, it's actually horrible.
God.
That is
almost double. What's happened with our Kai'Sa today? They've been big strugglers.
I don't know. I'm just glad we're past the watershed, really. That is not suitable for
Hecarim, that was
times.
the first pick insta-lock Kai'Sa that hasn't come into fruition at all. This was when you're on the blue side and you first pick a champion, that means you put faith, and it's been shut down without any pressure from any other lanes. It's been simply Rafitta and Plasma outplaying the lane, taking the fact that Jinx has the range advantage over the Kai'Sa and Cboi.
Baca's got cold card, he finds on to Cboi. Sten now just gets caught out and blown up. Hadess secures himself the kill, and UCAM now just going to take this opportunity to start away at that turret in the top lane. Got an Urgot, he can just machine gun it down.
StenBosse tried to help his jungler right there. He's like, it's fine, I'll take the gold card for you. I can Tangerine or Mandarin or whatever you wanted away. But it wasn't just one person. It never is with UCAM. When you see one person, when you see Baca, he always has Baca right behind him. And now is where I'm starting to see the UCAM train starting to choo-choo, because they've taken the two outer towers, top and bot. Now they'll have full control over the river, and Dreedy.
He's just letting the wave die out.
Let's take the tower, Dreedy.
I mean, it's fair to denying Sten as much farm as he can. Sten has now finished up his Essence Reaver. So Dreedy is level 11, although Sten is really feeling this with the fact he's got that Essence Reaver.
Yeah, seeing that Baca is all the way down the bot lane, it kind of gives you a sense of freedom when it comes to the Twisted Fate ultimate being pulled out. But Baca also has a teleport. That means he can join his team from wherever he is on the map. He basically has double TF ultimate on him, and one of them is also global. So you have to pay respect to whenever Baca has his teleport available. So it's kind of like a double threat, right? He's like, he's used Destiny, it's fine, he's not dangerous, but he is, because teleport is still up. And Macko need to play with that consideration in mind. You see that they're not necessarily overextending too much, but again, not overextending. How much are you willing to lose up to the point where you say, we team fight? Because I'm seeing almost a 2-item Jinx, and Kai'Sa's like, booty out sale in the inventory.
It's rough though, because your point is correct, but like I just don't think they can team fight right now.
Nope.
And they are just losing so much as Hadess is looking for the flank, not going to find it, and that will be the end of the tier 1 in the mid lane. Hadess does show his face at the tail end of that play.
You don't even need to actually get the flank. You don't need to dive them. You don't need to do anything. At this point, Cboi has lost access in his jungle. So you lose CS. You can't move into your jungle because your CS is going to be taken. Look at that. Baca is just blatantly stealing his wolves from in front of his face. And we're talking about a farming jungler. We're talking about one of the most fast clearing junglers into the game that has no access to his own minions inside his jungle. So it's not necessarily about kills, it's about the pressure they create and the gold they deprive Macko off of.
So one good thing about the GP now that you got that Essence Ruby, you do kind of one-shot waves pretty quickly, so is able to hold that as Hadess summons the Rift Herald. And UCAM are just pulling Macko around the map. We're 17 minutes in. And a tier 2 is going to take some significant damage from this charge as the Chaos Storm is thrown down and the Gravity Field as Plasma does miss out on the hook, and will be the end of that one as Rafitta has to be quite careful, uses the cleanse as Baca's got the gold card in. They're just layering that CC down, and that is going to be Rafitta securing the kill as Dreedy almost gets the kill into Sten. Massive ultimate coming in, and here's the Fear Beyond Death. It goes a little bit too wide. That will not be the kill.
He's on them off of mid lane. No summoners burned from the side of Macko, which is good for them. But then again, you take the wolves, you take the raids, you have the timers for them from there on out, so they don't belong to you at all. And I think Rafitta and Plasma way too overextended into this fight. Thankfully for them, they're ahead. Dreedy is there. It's a 4v5 in favor of UCAM. Oh, StenBosse barely survives right there. Yes, can we have an applause for Decking for having his first item into the game? Then you look over to the other side and every single person almost has the second item completed. The dragon is coming up literally just now. I said it, you said it, Hecarim. They have the better teamfight composition, but they cannot fight if they don't have the strength in their items.
They just feel a little bit too far behind to be able to find those opportunities, unfortunately, for them for now, as Sten is going to get a bit of free time onto this top lane turret. It does a fair amount of damage to it, although Hadess is waiting in the wings, spots out Darkrai, and Hadess actually may just look to turn it around. Teleports are getting used. It looks like UCAM are looking for fighting. Plasma looking for the hook, not going to quite hit it as Baca comes in with the gold card. There's the solar flare. Now Plasma takes a fair amount of damage from King. And Sten just rejoining with the rest of his team as UCAM are looking to steal away this blue buff. It's secured by Hadess.
They're literally taking everything and anything away from them. You see that the CS gap between Hadess and Cboi is starting to completely get stretched at this point. He's almost 30 CS ahead off of the Udyr. Again, one of the most, if not the most, fast-clearing jungler. But when you don't have a jungle to clear, you're not going to get any more of that juicy gold that you want on the Udyr to be a nuisance in the front line. And you see that how he's falling behind in items, the Hecarim as well. Hecarim is just so much more relevant right now that he is allowed to pull this place. And if he missteps, Baca is there with the TP. Baca is there with the Destiny. Dreedy is there to back him up. That doesn't work. Plasma has the lantern. He gets him out. There's so many ways for UCAM to outplay their opponents in the early game, and they're using them to the fullest.
We're 20 minutes in, and it is a 6,100 gold lead to UCAM right now. It is horrifically bad for Macko, and this is not what they needed. UCAM, though, looking to go 2-0 over in Group C. Like you were saying earlier, they got the 2 items onto both Baca and Rafitta. Double rapid fire cannons, so a lot of additional range. Those long-range gold cards can come in from Baca. Hadess closing in on, which I believe will be the Force of Nature. The Stride Breaker in the build for Dreedy. It is feeling very rough right now.
So, look at that.
Macko.
Decking is trying to catch up, which means he's taking a lot of the jungle camps that are left in Cboi's jungle. Cboi is 40 plus CS behind. It is so sad. They don't own their jungle. There is vision everywhere from UCAM, and they have the pushing power because their Jinx is just so stupidly fed. Hadess is just playing control in the mid lane. Zoning control, exactly. Thank you for helping me there. It doesn't need to engage. Just the threat of the Hecarim being there with the ultimate up and the ghost up is just enough to allow Rafitta to do whatever the heck he wants right now. What's that? You said more pressure? Oh, look at that. Baca's in the bot lane as well. He's stacking up the wave. That is great news because you know what? You can take Rafitta down the bot lane. You can have Hadess, again, stopping any enemies from getting anywhere near his ADC and just take another tower.
Cboi's trying to come in there. Actually did get the cleanse out from the Jinx. But I mean, that was just a momentary respite. It's actually the Chaos Storm and Cannon Barrage are going to get thrown down. Rafitta going a little bit low, but with that gold card charged up, it's so hard to make their way in as Dreedy did rotate over slowly towards this bot lane to see if he could help. But UCAM, at the end of the day, they lose both their summoner spells on Rafitta, which is probably not something they really wanted to have happen here.
Yeah, that was a pretty worth fight from Macko right there, because they do manage to save their tower, but very importantly, they burn both Rafitta's summoner spells right there. They saw that Dreedy was in the top lane. They knew that he didn't have any TP available to him to TP down to that fight, so they used the numbers advantage. They used the bodies into UCAM's bodies, where they had the advantage there, and they tried to get the fight. And that was so important for them, because now Rafitta has to be extra careful. He can't just run wherever he wants, trying to take towers here, there, or anywhere. And Hadess, though,
there's the gold card. Here comes the rocket. Sebekx has to go golden in the middle of everyone as Baca flashes out, and Rafitta gets excited and gets the kill with Cboi, taking rocket after rocket. Is able to put some space between them so it doesn't get too hairy. But losing your mid laner, losing your wave clear, really, really rough as Baron is up on the map, and it looks like UCAM just going to rotate over to that one.
Yeah, Macko here are gonna try to push the wave. Dreedy's coming from the bot side, but this could end really bad for Macko, because they don't have a lot of the crucial ultimates like the GP one to check out, and Dreedy's sandwiching them.
Yeah, and Baca's coming in as well. He's got the gold card. Here's Sten getting focused out as Rafitta just firing away. Darkrai gobbled up by the Fear Beyond Death, and this is the team fight that UCAM needed. Cboi bolting to the wind as the zap goes wide. That is one speedy Udyr, but Dreedy looks to run him down. Not going to find the opportunity for another kill. They find a quick 2 kills, and it's back to Baron, back to business for UCAM.
And if you're too scared to take the Baron when the jungler is up, just very simply send him back to the fountain for him to heal up. Now, again, Cboi will not have the time simply to get back onto this Baron and try to take it. And that is some impeccable early game aggression with that comp that UCAM has drafted right now. This is what we sort of wanted to see from Mouse when they drafted the Assassin, but they just didn't have the early game to do that. Here, UCAM drafted for it. They got the Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate was the most picked or banned champion in the LEC this split, and Baca is showcasing why.
Man, that graphic always makes me really hungry every time. Baron Nashor in the pocket of UCAM. And what are they going to do with it? That is the question for me really right now, as it looks like they're going to try and end the game with it, as Hadess just slides straight into the backline. Baca's coming as well. Sten's also made his way over. Gold card lands onto the King, and that is Rafitta able to find 1 kill already. The barrels are going to get stopped and slowed down. This is a double kill for the Jinx. Rafitta hungry for more, but Macko not going to give him the opportunity to find anything else, as they just get a quick 2 kills. Dragon spawning up in a second's time as well. UCAM looking to pick up their 3rd Drake of the game.
That was some sort of a Caps Twisted Fate ultimate right there coming in from Baca. As I praise him, he literally TP'd to the other side of the world, couldn't join the fight in time, but when he did, he was able to zone away a lot of the carries from Macko. And right now you said, what are they going to do with the Baron? Well, they're just going to do the same thing they've always done. They're just going to engage Macko all the time, and then when they manage to kill a couple of members, they're just going to push through, and they just happen to have a purple buff around them. I don't think it changes much for them at this point here, right? They're 11,000 gold into the lead. They're still able to run Macko down. And again, I still haven't seen that B1 Kai'Sa come into play.
I hate to break it to you, but I don't think we're going to see it come into play, unfortunately. Yeah. Like you said, 11k down. Dragon now picked up double mountain, giving just Rafitta even more stats to work with, and one off that mountain soul. There's a part of me that thinks we might not even see soul this game. I don't think we've seen soul at all today, actually.
Have we?
We haven't in any of our games, and I'm pretty sure the first 3 also didn't make it to soul.
Yeah. It's been very back and forth the entire day, honestly. There's been a lot of teams that have been sharing the Dragon, so it doesn't surprise me, because games have been extremely close today.
It's been back and forth until we get to this game, and then it's been pretty one-sided.
Only fourth.
Only fourth,
for
yeah.
UCAM.
They have been heading into that blue side from moment 1. Now, Dreedy has to be a little careful. He is isolated, but he
has a lot of
recognizes that
vision.
his team are on the opposite side of the map, and he's quite okay just to hold the waves as far back as possible. He's got teleport if he needs to make his way over, and Baca's just going to start barreling away, and Rafitta actually able to auto-attack the tower from over the wall with that rapid fire cannon. There's another tower will crumble here. Inhibitor didn't go down in the mid lane, so at least there's no supers pushing in.
I was about to say, I don't really like this. They still had Baron, but then they didn't sort of time it together with the mid wave. So their syncing here is a little bit off with the waves, especially now that they don't have the Baron buff available. Viktor can clear waves really, really easily now with the upgraded Ray as well. And just now they're starting to bring two at once toward the base. Again, it's not synced enough. I think this is going to be most likely a next Baron game. If anything, they need to take the mid lane and heal it first. They need to find a lot more picks. Because right now, Macko can just chill into the base and just keep on chomping on any sort of minions to just walk into them.
We take stock of the items that Rafitta is now finished up. Almost
Please
got that
don't.
Bloodthirster.
It's sad, please don't.
It's pretty tragic. Almost got that Bloodthirster, and then we have a look at over at Durking. Kraken Slayer and the Mortal Reminder finished up, so 2 items on to the Kai'Sa. Seeing Baca going in for a base and probably going to get some components at the least towards the next item, but has obviously got that Zhonya's, which was finished up somewhat recently. It's a Medjai's. He bought a Medjai's.
It's just so crazy to me that someone playing Thresh in such a bloodthirsty game has not yet died. I hope I didn't jinx him, but he's sitting on 0-0-8, almost full kill participation, but 2. He has been impeccable with his hooks. He's been impeccable with his lanterns. Same for his ADC. This game to me, is a whole map diff, but the bot diff that Rafitta and Plasma are showcasing here is just massive.
Oh, here comes Hadess sliding through the entire team, bringing it back as the counter barrage is on. Cboi stuns Baca and locks him down, but Dreedy is just gobbling members alive with the fear beyond death as Baca slides back in. It's a double kill onto Dreedy as they are just mopping up absolutely everyone. A triple kill to Dreedy, and it's another one picked up for Baca. The full ace for UCAM, and like that they snap their fingers and they're going to close this game out.
And a team who cares shares, he framed. Everyone put their little bean into the basket of beans, and now they have a basket of beans, basically. They got the win. That was so beautifully done by UCAM. Every single member understood exactly what their role was on this chessboard. It was so beautiful to watch. Baca so proactive on the map with a twisted fate. Dreedy knew exactly when to be aggressive, exactly when to go defensive. And honestly, that bot diff from Rafitta and Plasma was so beautiful to watch. How that B1 Kai'Sa, I just didn't even know there was a Kai'Sa in the game. It was so beautifully just run to the ground that you didn't even realize what happened there.
It was a very rough game for Macko, and that does leave them 0-2 now over in the group. And it started with a lot of attention getting put into this top lane. They got Dreedy ahead, and it was kind of like we thought Dreedy was going to be the carry, but it was secretly they were just letting the Jinx win lane on their own.
It's really funny because they were trying to put a lot of pressure up top, but the problem is if you focus Cboi up top lane, then Rafitta and Plasma are going to have an even better time bot lane and keep on pressuring your Kai'Sa. And I think this is where they got confused because Baca could be anywhere on the map, and they just consistently had disadvantage when it came to fights. Hadess on that Hecarim, absolute beast, was fighting insane 2- and 3-man fear engages. Then Dreedy, whenever he was coming in, some flashes that he had after he ate someone to get another fear onto the team were so beautiful. Like literally major props to UCAM, the first seed coming in from the Spanish league. We haven't seen a Spanish team be so proactive and so decisive in such a long time. It's so refreshing to see here.
It really is. It really is. And I mean, you can see the goal difference over time.
Oh my God.
It's just dropped off a cliff. It was a really, really solid lead picked up. And I mean, 17k coming in from Rafitta on that Jinx. A really solid game from UCAM across the board. And that does put them at 2-0. in their group, and we can see the standings at the end of the day. So over in Group A, Big do lead the pack there 2-0. Group B, it's Misfits and Roku and Sup Up actually who are tied. So Group B, very, very close right now. Group C, it is UCAM. They are the ones who are on the top of this group. And then over in Group D, Carmen Corps 2-0. I mean, when you got a fan base that vocal, you've got to perform, and they have so far. And a team that hasn't really performed yet is BTXL, representing the NLC. So hopefully tomorrow we can see a bit of a bounce back from them. But today we've had some really, really good games. But I mean, let's just continue talking about tomorrow. So starting off the day with XL versus Cream Real Betis. So another Spanish team playing, but they're playing versus the NLC. First seed XL. Then we have Schalke versus Carmen Corp. UCAM versus Mouse. Macko versus Illuminar. Mikas versus Kick. And Anamorphosis versus Big. Trouble, any games there that are kind of jumping out to you?
I definitely want to see BTXL, and that's not because we are from the NLC. It's because
it's okay to say we're biased. I'm excited for that game.
They need to bounce back. It's a game that means life or death for them in this one, and we just need to see them bounce back. And I'm going to be biased here. I can't wait to see Anamorphosis versus Big. Like, I'm full bias. I'm Greek. I'm going to stand behind Anamorphosis as well. I just want to see, was it a fluke in the first game, or are they actually as good as they showed in that first game where they caused an upset? So yeah, I just can't wait for that one.
It's perfectly fine to support your teams, right? Like I'm all for it, you know. I'm going to support XL even with the performances we've had from them. It's been a rough one, but an amazing day 3 so far. We've had a few upsets, we've had a lot of things changing up, but the European Masters does continue and be back tomorrow for even more action. So make sure you tune in. We're starting at the exact same time on the exact same place. We'll see you tomorrow.